David's Law was put in place on September 1st, 2017 in order to help prevent cyberbullying in schools. The law is named after David Molak, a 16-year-old high schooler from San Antonio Heights who, after being cyberbullied by his peers, ended up taking his own life. David's Law obligates schools to investigate any off-campus cyberbullying if it in any way affects the in-school environment.
The law allows schools to combat and prevent cyberbullying by allowing them to investigate and address off-campus cyber-assisted bullying if it materially affects the school environment. David's Law requires school districts to include cyberbullying in their district bullying policies and notify a child's parents if he or she is a victim of alleged aggressor or bullying. David's Law classifies cyberbullying as a misdemeanor offense, which can result in fines and jail time. David's Law requires schools to develop a system for anonymously reporting bullying and threats. We use the Stop It app.
A lot of what I see has to do with people trying to kind of use, a lot of times social media is a big place for this. They use an online platform in order to make somebody else feel less than. And usually they do that to try to put somebody else's information out there for others. And so again, that power imbalance of multiple people against one really is where I see that a lot. And a lot of those social media situations happen outside of school, but they have really big impacts on what happens in school. And when they impact school, the school has to get involved.
I think there's a lot of cyberbullying that goes on. You can see a lot of, whether they're negative comments in an online space or where people make group chats to make fun of other people unbeknownst to them. And then as far as in-person things go, I think even when you're joking with friends, like sometimes jokes go a little too far, and that can be pretty harsh as well.
Cyberbullying is just like verbal bullying. It just takes place on electronic devices. So it's really just how it's delivered, not that it's different than bullying.
It's interesting because the effects are really big, and as I was saying, a lot of the times the bullying behavior happens outside of school. But because it impacts what happens in school, we have to take care of it and address it. The impacts are things that students withdraw. Students who are being bullied often feel isolated and alone, and like they're the only person experiencing this kind of negative situation. What's interesting about that as well is often the bully is isolated as well. And sometimes that's kind of what becomes that cycle, is that the bully is isolated because people don't want to be around them, but they bully others, which makes those other people feel isolated. So isolation happens on both sides.
So bullying affects 1 in 5 students in the U.S. It increases symptoms of depression and anxiety, which has a negative toll on their mental health.
It can affect people mentally and emotionally because trauma from stuff like that, in extreme cases, can mess with someone's life for years, if not the entirety of their lifetime.
If you are feeling isolated or bullied or are in any type of stress or depression, you are not alone. The National Network of Depression Centers has numbers to call and resources to help you get through whatever it is you need to get through. You can also access these resources through nnDC.org/resource-links/. Don't be afraid to go on the Stop It app or tell a trusted adult or staff about what you are going through as well.